Hi, this is Lisa from Loop's Needlepoint. Today I'm going to demonstrate for you the Scotch stitch. The Scotch stitch is a stitch that looks like a series of squares. It's a great stitch with a lot of variations. You can do it in many different sizes. And it's a fun stitch to do once you get it going. So it's a great stitch to add to your repertoire. Let's see how it works. Today I'm stitching on canvas that is 13 mesh, and I'm using the DMC Pearl Cotton number 3. We're going to start the stitch with a basic tent stitch. This means we're going to be, first of all, we're going to always be working on the diagonal. We're going to go down diagonally across one cross of the canvas. This is going to be the top corner of our first box. For my next stitch, I'm going to go next to the first stitch. And this time I'm going to cross over 2 crosses of the canvas, 1, 2, so that I come down directly below the first stitch. Next, I'm going to come up again, right next to my previous stitch. And this time I'm going to go over 3 crosses of the canvas, 1, 2, 3. Now we can make these squares as big as we want. I'm going to make one that goes up to 4. So again, I'm going to come right up next to my previous stitch. I'm going to cross over 4 crosses, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, I go directly down next to the previous stitch. So you can see this is the top corner, the top half of my box. Every stitch is always going to either line up horizontally or vertically with a previous stitch. Now I want to do the second half of the box, so the stitches are going to get smaller again. I'm going to now come up directly below the first stitch, and this time I'm going to cross over 3 so that I come down next to the previous stitch. 1, 2, 3, and next to the previous stitch. Again, I come up directly below the the previous stitch. And then I go down 2, 1, 2, until I'm next to the previous one. And then one final stitch for this box, again, directly below the stitch before. Cross over 1 canvas cross, and next to the last one. And there you can see I have a completed square. My stitch lengths were, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now, my next square is going to go below it, next to it, wherever I need to go. Let's do next to. All right, so first I need to do the corner. I'm going to go right up here. This is where my corner stitch is going to be. And I'm going to go down again across 1. I'm starting all over, so it's going to go again 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. I come up right next to the stitch before. And now I go over 2, 1, 2, and I'm touching right up. I'm sharing a hole with the stitches from the previous box. Again, I go next to the stitch I just finished. 1, 2, 3, and in. And last, I have my longest, the diagonal. This is going to go again next to the previous one. And over 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and right down there. Okay, again, now I'm on the second half of the box where I'm going to get my stitches are going to get smaller. So I start below the previous stitch, 1, 2, 3, and right next to the last one. Now, once I have it going, I don't really need to count each time. I can just line it up. I know I've got to line up with this line vertically and with this line horizontally. Again, I need to line up vertically this way and horizontally this way. I can count if I want to, but I can also just get into the rhythm of it. So there you can see I've got 2 boxes. Let's do one more. Again, I'm going to come up right here. This one I'm not going to count. I'm just going to show you how I line them up. And it goes much quicker when I'm not counting. I'm going next to, right? I'm always going to keep this line at the top straight. And I'm always going to touch right to the square that came before. next to, and then that last corner stitch gets its own hole. And then I'm going down now this time. So I go down, and this time I'm going to meet on the horizontal line so that I get the straight bottom of my box. And there you go. Now you can see the pattern emerging. I've got my 3 squares right next to each other. I could do other ones on top, below, diagonally, wherever I'd like them to go. It's a great stitch. It's a lot of fun. If you have any questions, let me know.